Okay, uh, let's start the event now. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here tonight for Know It All. My name is Vinashri, and I am delighted to be your host for tonight. I hope that you'll enjoy tonight's session and take away something useful from it. Today, we will be focusing on studying medicine in Ireland. And joining us here is Chelsie Mark, a first year medical student in University College Dublin. She will be sharing with us here today information about her school and her experiences of how she got to where she is today. So here's a rough idea on what we'll be doing tonight. We'll start off the event with a talk by Chelsie, followed by a Q&A session at the end, for everyone to clarify any doubts you may have. Feel free to type your questions in the Slido link provided in the chat box as we proceed with the event, and remember to indicate which speaker your question is for. Kindly refrain from typing questions in the Zoom chat box. So let me just send the Slido link. Before we begin, make sure to read the housekeeping rules posted in the chat box, and please abide by the rules or else we will not hesitate to remove you from the meeting. And without further ado, Chelsie, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you for having me. So I'll share my screen now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Does the camera thingy pops up on my screen? I'm not too sure.
I know it does. I can just see your slides only.
Okay.
Okay.
So hi guys, I'm Chelsie. I'm a first year medical student. So nice to meet all of you, and thank you TMPMC for having me today. It's an honor to be here. So I'll get started. Okay, I'm a first year medical student in my second semester right now, which is ending soon because my exams are actually coming soon. So yeah, I'm studying at University College Dublin in Ireland, and I'm from 𝐊𝐵𝐺𝐴. And these are my previous qualifications. I did A-levels in Taylor's, and I did my IGCSE in Hunsbridge. So yeah, it's a very small school. And these are my hobbies. So I like cooking, especially cooking. Actually, I like cooking ever since coming here. And I've never cooked when I was in Malaysia. So I like cooking when I came here, and of course traveling, but it's very expensive. So yeah, these are just about me, and a picture of me, and the cherry blossoms was so nice. Yeah. So these are just some pictures of my school and me. So this was during orientation, I think, when I first came here. Everything was fresh, everything was new, everything was exciting. And this was the lake right now in my school. So it's very pretty, as you can see. So most of us have like lunch here, or we just take a stroll at the lake. So yeah. Next. So next, I'll be talking about the basic medical school applications requirements for those of you who want to pursue medicine. Grade requirements, normally they'll look at A-level, minimum AAA or AAB. This is like the very standard grade requirement. And it would be better, of course, if you can score higher than that. And for your IGCSE, SPM, and O-levels, they would recommend normally 5Bs and above, including biology, chemistry, physics, and math, and English. But English, we'll talk about that because there's an English proficiency test, but the core subjects for IGCSE would be those few. And again, it would be better if you can score higher than that, so to secure your application and your place in the university. And next will be the English proficiency test. So most people who do medicine would normally require to do an IELTS test. So yeah, and the minimum band requirement is 7.5. And it really depends on all universities, because some universities, they look at the overall band, whereas some, they look at each category. So as you know, IELTS have reading, speaking, listening, and writing. So for example, I think Edinburgh, University of Edinburgh, they look at each component and you have to get a band of like 7 to 7.5 for each. So it really depends on the medical school. So I would advise you to do well on the English proficiency tests. And next would be the personal statement. And this would be the most important criteria for your application, I would say, because besides grades, where it's a common criteria, because for people who study medicine, I think the school already expects that you would have a good grade. So personal statement is kind of like what distinguishes you from other applicants. So it's to share like who are you, or like why you want to do medicine and all. So this is really important. And the maximum characters be 4,000. It's actually not a lot. I think I remember last time my personal statement was about like 6 paragraphs. It sounds a lot, but it's actually not a lot. So yep, this is one thing you should focus on. And next, okay. And next would be college or high school testimonial letter. This is optional, but of course it would help in boosting your application for med schools. So normally you normally get like a teacher or a mentor to write this for you, but for my case, tailors, they assign testimonial writers for each student in A levels. So yeah, I had to fill in a form and my testimonial writer would like write it for me. So that was me for the case. And next would be admissions tests. In Ireland, they have this called health professional admissions test, which is known as the HPAT. So this test is very similar to the UCAT or BMAT from UK or ISAT in Australia. But the good news for international students like us, we do not have to take it. I just put it here for your information. So yeah, this test is only taken by the Irish and people who are studying in the Europe, or I mean, people who are in Europe. So yeah, for international students, that's not required. So after you've passed your first stage of application process, that will lead to interviews, which is the scariest part, I believe. Second stage, and the 2 common styles would be the traditional 1-to-1 or like 1-to-2. Sometimes you have 2 panel interviewers against you. And the next one would be multiple mini interviews. This is very common nowadays, and you go by stations, like few stations. So yeah. My advice is to practice and practice and practice, because that's the only way that you can improve on your confidence and how you present yourself. So yeah, so practice as much as you can in front of the mirror, in front of your parents and your friends, anything it is, just practice as much as you can. And you can gather and find many sample interview questions on Google, or you can ask from, I don't know, your seniors, anything. So these are just examples. So like personal reflection is how you reflect on what you did and all in a medical setting. Yeah, normally interview will give you that settings. And medical ethics, it will be good if you know the 4 pillars of medical ethics, as it will help. It will you would show that you would show the interviewer that you know a bit of medicine before actually going into it. So which is brownie points. Yeah. And next would be my application journey. So I applied to this one, which is called the RUMC program. It's a transnational program because technically I would be doing this degree both in Ireland and both in Malaysia. So now I'm in my preclinical years. So I'll be spending in Dublin, and later on I would return to Malaysia and Penang and do my clinical years, which will be in 2025. Yeah, I'll return and do my clinical years there. So now I'm still doing my preclinical years. And there's an option between RCSI or UCD where you can choose. So it's pretty much the same. So normally you choose and you go to that school, and when you return to Penang, you will see your classmates or schoolmates in the same school in Penang from RCSI. So yeah. And this process, it's a bit different because you apply to RUMC directly, unlike the IUMC. This is a full-time in Ireland where you study for like 5 to 6 years, but mine is transnational, so it's different. And IUMC, the process is very, very similar to UCAS, which is applying to the UK. These are just some difficulties I faced during my application process to med school. So yeah, juggling between academics and the application process was the hardest. So why? Because I remember I had to prepare for A-level exams, and I had to write my personal statement. And yeah, because we had to submit all of those. And I think I remember personal statement was the very stressful one for me because I keep writing and editing, and I ask for a lot of help. And oh yeah, please ask for help for personal statement because that's very important, and get as many opinion as you can. Yeah, preparations for medical school interview. So after I did my personal statement and submitted my grades, then yes, of course, they call you in for interview, then you would have to prepare for that. And extracurricular activities. So previously, I was actually the president of TLPMC. So I guess that was the toughest part as well, as I had to juggle between club work and academics. So yeah, these are just some difficulties I face and which you may face too if you decide to apply to med school. Next, this is just the pre and post departure checklists before I came to Ireland and after I came. So for me, I had to get a certificate of good conduct, which means a certificate to prove that you're free from criminal records and all criminal activities. It's just a police clearance. And yeah, renew your passport if it's near the expiration date. This is important too. Research on accommodation. So for me, because UCD is a very full-fledged campus, they have many accommodations on campus. So I was lucky I could get one on campus, but some of my friends, they choose to stay off campus because it's good in the long run, as some of them are not going back in the summer. So yeah, this is really up to you. And get all your injections done, so such as hepatitis B, tetanus, measles, mumps, and rubella, because they may check your health injection records or screening records. And if you do that, it will be more expensive, I believe. So it's better to get it done here. And get a TB test. This is very important too. And purchase health insurance. This is also very important because if you go to Ireland to study, they may ask for your health insurance when you arrive at the immigration. So this is important. And post-departure is mainly the common one. So like bank account, this is important. And your phone data plan and Irish residence permit. Okay, this is the most important one because this is like your visa. So actually, if you go to Ireland to study, you don't need a visa like going to UK, but you do need a residence permit. So this can be done when you're in Ireland, but it is very tough, and I'll explain why later. Next would be the Garda vetting application. So this is similar to the certificate of good conduct, whereas the police clearance. And in my case, my school helped me because they sent me a link. So I just had to fill in the form and submit it. And my school helped me settle everything. So that was okay. So these are my difficulties I faced upon arrival to Ireland. Um, I wouldn't say I faced a lot of difficulties because I came with my family, so they helped me a lot. And yeah, I was pretty much steady right there. And next, the one that I suffered the most was struggled a bit was the bank account, maybe because it's a bit complicated at first, but then if you seek help from the bank administrator, then you'll be grand, it's fine. And all applications are online for a bank, so um yeah, so you just need to apply online, fill in your details, your passport correctly, and yeah, they will just deliver to your doorstep, like the card, the PIN, and everything. Yeah, as previously mentioned, this was the toughest because you can only book appointments by calls, which sucks actually. And they take a very long time to answer your call. Like for mine, I think I had to call them 9 times in a row for them to pick up my call and get an appointment. And you can't, and it's quite it's very late because I came here in late August and my appointment was in November. Yeah, so it's quite late and it's very packed. So this is quite hard to get it, but it's important. Okay, next I'll be talking about the comparison between Malaysia and Ireland. So for tuition fees, of course, Malaysia would be way cheaper. Depends where you go. Of course, I know IMU, Monash, that's around like 500K for 5 years. I did my research before choosing where to go. So yeah, that's the like general amount. But the one I am going, it's approximately 620K for 5 years. But if you choose to go Ireland full time, then it's like more. So it's like 1 to 1.7 million for 5 to 6 years. That's like approximately, yeah, it's a lot. And cost of living, again, Malaysia would be cheaper, definitely, because if you come here, you need to convert every time you buy something. So definitely Malaysia is cheaper. And a fun fact, an average meal in Dublin is approximately 10 to 20 euros. If you convert back, it's like 50 to 80 ringgit. So it's not cheap. And like, so my advice is cook your meals at home. This is why you should learn cooking, and because cooking is way cheaper at home and you can cook, like you can do meal prep, so you can save it for a few days, which is very good. Accommodation is very expensive too, actually. So like the average price would be around 600 to 700 euros for the cheaper options, and it may go up to 1,500 euros. And this also depends where you stay on or off campus. So normally campus would be expensive, of course, because it's convenient, but off campus does not necessarily mean it's cheap either, because you have to consider the distance. You have to so if it's far, you have to consider your transport, and if you live in a house, you have to consider the utility bills, so like Wi-Fi, electricity, yeah, water, everything. Yeah, this is a lot, but Ireland do have plenty opportunities for participation and involvement in medical talks. So recently there was one medical talk by a Nobel Prize winner. I'm really sorry, I forgot the name, but he gave a talk about hypoxia. So that was really good. I didn't go because I had something on that day, but yeah, I heard it was a very nice talk. And sometimes there are talks and events by renowned doctors or researchers in the city or even in schools, surgical events and seminars. So they do give you opportunities for surgical events where they invite you to their hospital and you can have an experience with like handling cadavers, of course. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting and fun. and it's quite a rare opportunity. So here has many of those, so which is good. Internships. So you can do your internships overseas as well, like USA, Australia, and the UK. And it's only limited to Ireland. So it's pretty much very good. But of course, if you want to practice there, you have to take certain admissions tests like USMLE for USA. And for Australia, I think it's like the AMC. So you have to take those tests, of course, but it is very open to other countries and you get many more opportunities. Apart from that, there are summer research also. So because for us, our term is normally from September to May. So from May to August, it's summer break for us. So some people do go for summer research. So it's very good for your CV and you get an opportunity to work with doctors or notable researchers, which is rare. And it's not easy either because you have to apply for this and you have to go through an interview. They would ask, why would you want to choose this project? And how this project would help you and how are you suitable for it. So it's a very good experience and opportunity, I would say. And yeah, for a bonus, if you win, money will be given to you as a reward, which is good too. But the only downside of this research is you have to commit 2 months to it, which is pretty long. So yeah. We're almost the end. So more about Ireland and my university life. This is just Ireland in a nutshell. So it has a pretty diverse culture. So actually coming here, I didn't feel too homesick, I would say, because there are actually many Malaysians here, many Asians in general, I would say. But there are also many people from all around Europe, like Germany, France, Italy, and many Americans too. So it's a very, very diverse culture. They have their own Irish language. It's known as Gaelic. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's known as Gaelic. But yeah, most of them still speak English as their first language. So there was no communication barrier, which was great. The Irish are generally nice. Yeah. So everywhere you go, they would greet you like, hello, how are you? So they're very friendly. And yeah, they're not hard to like talk to. I think they're pretty okay. So yeah, and they have many fun festivals. So one of them is the St. Patrick's Day. It's a very major festival in Ireland, happening on 17th of March annually. So yeah, this is one of them. They're famous for their Guinness stout and Irish potatoes. Yeah, this is one of the tourist attraction, the Guinness warehouse, where they show how their stout is made and all. And their potatoes are pretty much their staple food in Ireland. It has many nice sceneries and the nature is very peaceful, which I'll show later on in the pictures. Drinking and partying, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. Then I'll show you some pictures. So this is the day of life in medical school. So yeah, this is I was in lecture. Before lecture started, I took this picture with my friend. Then this is just me in the library studying. This is before going into our cadaver section. So yeah, it was pretty fun. And this is life in Dublin, I guess. So the Temple Bar, this is a pretty famous tourist attraction. Yeah, this is in the city. These are like the places I went last semester. So it's known as Hove. Look at the cliff, it's like really pretty. And this is just me taking pictures. Yeah. Next, these are just pictures of my friends and I. So with all the events, and at my school, they organize many events. So these are just some pictures. Yeah. And Yeah, as I said, because a meal there is expensive, so I do cook a lot. So these are just food that I cook. Yeah. And this is just a cherry blossom because I wanted to share. It's really pretty. So yeah. Okay, final advice. Do not go into medicine without thinking twice, really, because it's really not easy and it's very tough. Do not go in for the money. Do not go in because your parents ask you to. Seriously, just do it because you want it on your own. It's a tough journey, I would say. And before that, you should research as many universities as possible. So you have to compare the cost, accreditation, cost of livings, everything. Just research as much as you can before going into medicine and before deciding which university you want to go. So yeah, as I said, it's a tough and long journey, but if you wish to pursue, then welcome to hell. I'm just joking, but yeah, I'm more than happy to welcome you if you decide to do medicine. So thank you so much. And thank you, TLPMC, for having me. I'll be open to answer any questions now.
All right, thank you so much, Chelsea, for this informative presentation. It felt really beneficial to those having doubts on their future as a medical student in Ireland. So I hope this sharing session has provided everyone with some useful information. Now, without further ado, we can move on to our Q&A session. You guys can drop your questions down in the Slido link provided in the chat, and remember to indicate which speaker your question is for. Okay, we have a couple of questions here already. So I'll ask the first one. If my grade is not that good during A levels, is there still a chance for me to continue medicine overseas?
I would say yes. You can find many different alternatives, or you can reconsider retaking your A level if it's really, really not there, like the grade is not meeting the requirements. Or what you can do is maybe you can study locally too, and for specialization you can do it overseas. So there are many ways to go about this. This is just my opinion on it. Yeah.
And what are your tips for scoring well in A levels?
Do a lot of past year papers. Seriously, I would say study consistently, do a lot of past year papers, follow a strict timetable. Yeah, and you'll be grand.
Great. Is IELTS compulsory for studying medicine? Is Taylor's Foundation in Science English enough for the requirement?
Okay, it really depends on the university, but for safety purposes, I would say take IELTS because that is internationally recognized everywhere. And Taylor's Foundation may be only enough if you want to study in Taylor's. So for safety purposes, I would say just take IELTS.
And our next question is asking for some tips on how to juggle a good social life while maintaining good grades.
Oh, my motto is to study hard and play hard. So how hard you study, you should play as hard as that. So that's how I juggle normally. But of course, for me, what I do in Ireland is normally I study from Monday to Friday, but I leave Saturday off for a day to myself. I can do whatever I want. And Sunday, it's I study again. Yeah. But closer to exams, I don't have that, of course. I just study whenever I can. So yeah.
So like a me day once a week.
Yeah, but now it's not happening because my exams are in less than a month. So it's pretty stressful.
You have to
Yeah.
prioritize exams.
Yeah.
And how is the public transport in Ireland?
Oh, it's actually pretty convenient, I would say, because my school itself has 3 bus stops in the school. It's very, very convenient, and the buses are very frequent. So public transport is not an issue. And even if you don't take the bus, you can pretty much walk everywhere. So for me, I normally walk to do my grocery shopping, which is like 20 minutes away, but it's a very nice walk and the weather is very nice. So yeah, public transport is not an issue there.
So you live near campus, is it?
I live on campus, inside the
Ah,
campus. So
I
it's
see.
very convenient. Yeah.
All right. The next question is, how much is your living expense in Ireland per month?
This varies because it depends on your social activities as well. But if I include that, maybe 400 euros, 400 plus. But near exam seasons, I don't spend much. So maybe 300, 200. Yeah, it really varies, like how much you spend. So yeah.
I see. Okay. So the next question is, I heard that an SPM, BM, and Sejarah certificate is needed to be working as a doctor in Malaysia. Would you need to do SPM when you come back to Malaysia?
Ideally, yes, because I did not do SPM, but if you manage to get an internship overseas, you do not need those. And after you decide to come back to Malaysia to work and settle down, you don't need it because by that time you're already done with your specialization and everything. So yeah, but if you want to do your housemanship and internship here, then yes, you need your BM and Sejarah.
Hmm. All right, next question. I think people are really wondering how to maintain a social life while studying medicine. They asked, how do you find the time to travel and have fun with friends while juggling medical school? Because
Mm.
everyone knows medical school is like the most stressful thing ever. So
Ah, I okay, maybe because it's my first year, so I'm pretty much exploring everywhere. But uh, like I said, study hard, play hard. So I only travel when there's a holiday. So last month there was spring break. I went to London. I went to UK for a bit. So yeah. And I came back, there was like a week left because spring break is 2 weeks. So 1 week I went for holiday and the other week I studied. So yeah.
I see. And did you apply for any scholarship?
Yes, I actually did, but I didn't get it. So yeah.
Okay. And is there a communication barrier? Because the Irish accent is a bit.
Honestly, honestly, no, surprisingly. I thought it would be hard, but in fact, the Irish accent is very easy to understand compared to British accent. Yeah, it's really
Oh,
easy to understand. So during lectures, there's no issue for me. Except for foreign teachers, because I think I remember I had a foreign teacher. He was from Spain.
mhm.
That was an issue for me because his accent was very hard to understand. So yeah, it really depends. But in general, the Irish accent is not hard to understand. But if you are talking about Northern Irish accent, then that is different. It's different.
It's like
So
quite a thick accent, lah.
yeah.
So, okay, out of all the countries, why did you choose Ireland to study medicine?
mm, I was researching for universities and I came across this RUMC program and it happened to be in Ireland. So that's
Hmm.
why. But yeah. But Ireland, it's a pretty nice country. I feel like there are distractions, but it's not as bad as the UK in my opinion. So yeah,
Hmm.
Ireland is pretty chill country. It's very nice. So yeah.
And does your certificate come from Ireland or Malaysia, or is it like a double degree cert?
It's an Irish degree cert. It's not double degree. It's Irish. Yeah. It's
Oh,
just that the branch in Malaysia in Penang, it's a foreign branch owned by UCD and RCSI. So at the end of the day, my degree is still an Irish medical degree. Yeah.
hmm. All right, the next question. Is there a chance to study in UK if you study in Ireland compared to Malaysia?
Is there a chance to study in UK if you study in Ireland? Of course there is. So like I said, let's say if you do your degree in Ireland, you can go to the UK for your internship or you can specialize there. So of course there is a chance, definitely.
All right. The next question is, when you packed for Ireland, what are some items you would recommend to buy in Malaysia for yourself there? Because they feel like things here may be cheaper compared to in Ireland.
Oh, I would say cheaper. Honestly, I would say just bring all the food you can.
Right,
Like,
right.
of course, there are some food you can't find in Ireland. So bring the packet ones or all your sambal belacan or whatever it is, just bring it here. Yeah, those are things I would say bring. Other than that, no. Like, to be honest, winter clothings you can buy it here because they have Black Friday sale, and the best thing is they have student discount with on top of the sale. So it's like cheap. It's cheaper here sometimes. But yeah.
Let's see. All right, the next one is, can you manage stress and maintain a work-life balance as a med student?
It's tough, but it's manageable. You definitely can. Just, I think med school is all about time management, to be honest. So as long as you manage your time well, it'll be great. Yeah.
And what are the important subjects to score for if doing medicine?
Important subjects to score for, but oh, this is a bit vague, but if you're talking about A levels, the generic subjects, I would say biology, chemistry, and math, these three. And IGCSE, the generic ones as well, the same ones, physics, biology, chemistry, math, English. Yeah, those are the subjects you would want to score well in.
All
And
right,
oh, yep.
someone asked to recommend cheap grocery stores in Ireland.
I would say Lidl or Tesco. This is the ones I normally go for. Oh yeah. For the previous question, what to bring from Malaysia? Bring a rice cooker. Yeah. The previous question. Where is it?
All
Yeah.
right.
You want to buy a rice cooker, like just a mini one, just for you, because rice cooker here they do sell it in the Asia market, but it's like 50 to 60 euros for a mini one, which is very expensive. So I would recommend buying it and bringing it here. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is the weather. How is it like in Ireland? Is it mostly sunny?
Um, I the weather here is very bipolar, I would say. Like 2 days ago, it was sunny and it can rain after a few minutes. So just bring an umbrella when you go out. But yeah, but I would say bring a raincoat rather than umbrella, because there were many times I bought a new umbrella. Because of the wind, my umbrella turned like the other way, upside down.
Oh,
So it's really bad. It's very windy here. It's rainy too, but not as rainy as London. But the weather can be very nice too. Like now it's very sunny and nice. So yeah.
All right. Is physics and ed maths important to medicine? I think this is it might be from Form 5 student, because ed maths Form 5 we do it subject.
I would
It
say
is, right?
it is to a certain extent, because now I'm in my second semester. So I do have to do math in vascular biology, where you have to calculate stuff, and and cardiac too. Yeah, cardiac. You have to calculate stuff. So formulas and all are important. You need to know how to use it. And we have biostatistics as well. So if you did A-level statistics, it's very helpful now. And it's very different, because in A-levels, all you need to do is to know the formula and how to apply it. But in medicine, it's harder, I would say, because they give you a real life medical situation and you have to apply it. So it's actually not easy. Yeah. So it's good that you should know math and physics. Yeah, it's important to a certain extent.
All right. The next question is, they asked, how do you tackle being homesick?
Tackle being homesick, just call my mom.
Of course.
No, I mean, homesick. I try to cook food that my mom would make for me, I guess, to fill in the
That's
emptiness.
sweet.
Yeah, homesick. But it's pretty much okay because I have my Malaysian friends here, so we could all relate. So I didn't feel that bad, I would say. It's pretty
It's
okay.
manageable.
It's manageable, really.
All right, the next question, they asked what subjects you took in your A levels and what grades did you get?
What subjects? I took the 3 generic ones: biology, chemistry, and math, and I got A star AA. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that was mine. Yep.
All right, so our next question, he must be trained as a professional med student as well as the capacity of alcohol, you assume? Okay, this one I don't really get what kind of question they're asking.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it either. Trained as a professional med student as well as the capacity of alcohol you consume. Maybe they were asking because you said Ireland, they're
no.
popular for their alcohol.
I said my friend is trying to expose me.
Yeah, Ireland, they drink a lot.
I mean, it's their culture, so yeah.
All right. Do we have any more questions after that? Questions after that?
No,
Oh, I
this is
think
the
that's
last
the last question. Okay, great. So, thank you everyone who asked your questions, and I'm sure Chelsie answered them all for you guys. So with that, the Q&A session has ended. Now we're going to move on to the photography session. So could everyone please turn on your cameras for a moment so we can take a picture? Okay. So the feedback form will be sent in the chat box now, and don't forget to fill that out, as certificates will only be given to those that filled in the form. By filling up the feedback form, you can have an input in TLPMC's future events and let us know how we can improve. We hope that this event has helped you gain more insight about studying medicine in Ireland and hopefully build some confidence and motivation that you need to attain this dream. So furthermore, as displayed on our screens right now, will be TLPMC social media pages where you guys can scan the QR codes and check it out to keep up with our club's event and activities. As always, thank you all for joining us here on a weeknight, and we hope that you enjoyed yourself and had learned something from today's session. All right, here's the feedback form and some of the links to our social media. Oh, and don't forget to sign up for the Med Memo. Important information and summary for each session is available for you to look back at any time. All right. And with that, our event has come to an end. I would like to thank Chelsie again for giving us the speech about her experience studying medicine in Ireland. We truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you so much.
No problem. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for coming. And after you guys click on the link for the feedback form, you may leave the Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.